watching some of the information you had sent over and some of the previous podcasts and videos that you had created, specifically one related to VRBOs, you had pointed out some things that completely go over my head when I look at homes and look at short-term rentals, and that's some very simple things like the height of the toilet, the height of the bed, etc. And when you speak about people with some of those mobility issues, making or breaking a guest experience, creating a wonderful guest experience for them, as simple as potentially is there comfort and ease in getting in and out of bed? Is there comfort and ease of using the restroom? And so the information you had sent me really made me start looking at these homes through a completely different lens. So what information is in your book, The Universal Design Toolkit, and how can listeners get a copy of that from you? Would you mind going into just a little bit of specifics of what's in there?
Yes, I wrote the book, and my husband, Mark, later illustrated it and designed it. We have color pictures of our home, the Universal Design Living Laboratory, and you can actually get a free copy of the book on our website, which is simply the initials udll.com. We actually have a virtual tour of our home, and the free chapter is a list of all the Universal Design features in our home, room by room. The Universal Design Toolkit is a great guide. It's for people who are wanting to remodel or build, who own the property, as well as an interior designer or a builder or a contractor. So it's both for the consumer and the professional. And it goes through what we experienced building our national demonstration home. The book is available printed. If you go to Amazon, they'll send you the printed copy. It is about over 200 pages, again, with full color photographs, showing the dimensions, showing the illustrations, giving you the details about the sink height and the knee space and the countertops, and in all kinds of resources for people who need help in funding. The book is available electronically. A lot of people like to read it on their phones, their tablets, or their desktop. And they like to have it with them wherever they go rather than bringing a paper copy. So they'll buy the electronic PDF version, and that's at universaldesign.toolkit.com. And with that purchase, with the PDF, you also get access to 16 videos, which are wonderful educational programs and tours of our home. So they get a bigger package.
That's absolutely wonderful. Can you briefly touch on, is universal design and ADA, are those the same things? Are those different things? Could you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, the Americans with Disabilities Act, of course, is part of the United States Department of Justice, and it's a historical piece of legislation that was signed in 1990. That is not going to come into play for short-term vacation rental single-family homes. That is only for the condominiums, the apartments, and the public spaces, as well as commercial buildings, banks, restaurants. So the ADA doesn't apply when you're looking at single-family. And when you're looking at the ADA, think of it as the floor, the baseline of accessibility. And that's where universal design starts. You have to know the baseline of accessibility in order to build upon it. And that's where universal design is. It is building upon the basics of accessibility, going beyond. And let me give you an example. In our front entrance, the front door, we didn't want any steps. We wanted just a gradual slope, a gradual pitch to the concrete that leads from the parking area in our portico to the front door. Now, the ADA might recommend a 1 in 12 slope, which means you need 12 feet of space for every 1 foot of height. And that creates a nice, gentle slope. But we wanted something less steep, so we went to a 1 in 20. And that's the universal design standard, so that when I come out of that front door, I'm not going as fast in my wheelchair. And when people are coming up to the front door, they don't need as much muscle power to get in. So if that can help you, the ADA, of course, is easy to find on the ada.gov website to know what their standards are for their commercial spaces. But There are no sets of universal design standards with the government. However, there's tons of checklists in my book that are referenced. They're all over the world. Every different organization and individual has created helpful checklists for universal design. And I think I've created quite a few of them, including the one that is the free chapter with a list of universal design features in our home, room by room.
Okay, then this is important, that distinction you just made is important, because a lot of the folks we work with in the short-term rental industry, they're not building the home from the ground up. So a lot of these folks will be retroactively bringing universal design to their short-term rentals.